I am sharing with you the mess in our house right now today. I am feeling overwhelmed by the mess in our house and by life itself right now. It has been like this in our house for the past week, and quite honestly, really the past like 6 weeks, because that feeling of overwhelm has led me to paralysis, and cleaning up feels like it's too big of a task. And I have not done much lately. Welcome to the channel. My name is Erica Lucas and I share videos about slow and simple living. I'm really glad you're here today. If you watched my last video, you know I'm dealing with the grief of my mother's passing 15 months after my brother passed away, and grief is heavy, but I am trying to balance it and move forward carrying that grief with the joy. I'm balancing it with the joy of motherhood and being a wife, and I feel like I'm putting the pieces of our simplified life back together one day at a time right now, and I thought I'd share that with you in this video. Those puzzle pieces that I'm putting back together are the routines, the habits, the belongings, all the things that carry my family of 5 along each day. And this particular day in the life video that I'm sharing with you right now marks the reset of our usual daily routines of tidying and taking care of our home together, and picking those routines back up and folding them back into our life one day at a time. To be honest, I have not been cooking or cleaning or tidying or anything lately. I decided to start in the kitchen because the island counter is like a pivot point for me. Once I get this island counter situated, I feel motivated to do more. Clean, the dirty dishes out and put them in the dishwasher, maybe run the vacuum, that kind of thing. Once this island counter is either clear or at least organized enough that it makes me feel better, then I start doing other things. So whenever I need to reset a routine or I don't feel like doing something, I start on this counter. But this counter was overwhelming because this entire last 6 weeks has been overwhelming for me. And I wanted to make sure that I just turned on the camera and shared that with you, that I felt stuck right here in this moment. I felt like I didn't know what to do with the stuff on this counter. I took a deep breath and I reminded myself to do things one at a time, that I do not have to clear off this entire counter. I just have to get it to the point where I feel better. I do not have to run the vacuum. I just have to do a little bit more than I have been doing. I had to get myself off the couch and stop ignoring the mess that my family was creating. I really just needed to get something done and feel productive and feel better about it. And my kids have been so incredible, and I've been handling their grief as well, and my father's grief and my husband's grief, and just making space for a lot of that. And now we just need to get back to our lives. And my children have daily chores that they have been able to skip out on for the last 6 weeks. So they weren't super fans of having to return to some of their chores, like emptying the dishwasher and feeding the dogs and helping out. But I did reset our checklist for them. I do it each month. I actually didn't even make one for May for the first time in about a year. So they got out of it for the month of May. But now we're picking our stuff back up. This is a kids drawer that they have, that they are responsible for emptying the dishwasher and putting away to the best of their ability what they can reach. And what that does is create a space for me to be able to put the dishes in the dishwasher. Becca fed the dog, so you can do that one. Good job. You got dressed. You did your vitamin. A year ago, I started making these monthly checklists, and I do them monthly because sometimes the chores change on what I need them to do in the house. And it gives me a chance to, print a new sheet, keeps it fresh for them. But basically they have the same chores, and we do it as a team approach. We call it Team Kids House Chores, and they are responsible for getting it done. I don't care if they do it as a team, individually, one person does 6 of them, or they all take 2. I don't really care how it gets done. They're a team, and each day they need to make sure that's done. It's also a reminder of self-care for them, that they need to do their checklist side as well, which is brushing your teeth, making your bed, brushing your hair, taking your vitamins. So it's a really great way to give them some autonomy and some independence at the same time that I'm getting some stuff done. So once I've emptied the dishwasher, it frees me up to be able to load the dishwasher. My 9-year-old sometimes helps with that particular step of loading the dishwasher, but it also gives me a chance to have, 5-10 minutes of time to just reset the kitchen so that I feel good and productive while they are doing their chores and their checklist. And so it's a good way for us to flow into the day, maybe get up off the couch from the morning, my coffee has been finished, and we're going to transition next into breakfast and school. So it's kind of like a routine for us, and they expect to need to do those things. When I first started decluttering 4 years ago, the kitchen was at the top of my list. I had started in the basement because I was afraid of decluttering the kitchen. The basement felt easier for me. And at that time, the basement was like a playroom and a homeschool room. So I just knew I would have some success down there. But once I got to the kitchen, I realized how many extra things we stored in our kitchen. And by getting rid of hundreds of items from our kitchen, it simplified it. It made it easier to keep. It made it easier to keep clean. We had so many extra bowls and mugs and glasses and plates and spices. And we just had so many things that I didn't use. I didn't even access, stuff that just sat at the back of cabinets for years that went untouched. And by prioritizing the things we actually use, the drawers and cabinets ended up becoming 50 to 75% full. And I have maintained that this entire time. And I've been able to do that by curbing what I purchase for the kitchen, while also at the same time getting rid of things we don't actually need and use or love in our kitchen. But compared to this room, our family room, it's a little bit different. We definitely have more of an influx of toys and things and games than we do for items in our kitchen. The kids get toys outside of birthdays and Christmas when they spend their own money, or just grandparents send them stuff or buy them stuff. So this room definitely requires more of an inventory management and a daily tidy than the kitchen does. In the sense that they have more things that they use here, and they don't really use the kitchen like I do.
Turn it to repeat.
Who's a good boy? Who's a good boy? This is my 6-year-old. He's finishing up kindergarten, and he is helping me with this family room. He does a great job as long as someone is alongside of him helping him and putting stuff away. And that's typical for a 6-year-old. I don't expect him to be able to know where everything should or shouldn't go. So, but my 8-year-old and my 9-year-old, my 8-year-old is dancing in the background right there, but she ends up going upstairs to help my 9-year-old. And my 9-year-old is actually the one that inspired me to get off the couch today and get back to our life. Without being asked, he started to clean up his own room. I think he needed it. I think he needed to get back to our routines of tidying our bedrooms every day. And that was my sign. It pulled me up and off the couch. He motivated me by starting to clean his own room.
Do we have to do any of this?
Did you brush your teeth?
Yeah.
Did you tidy your room?
Brain's doing that.
Do you want to give him some help? How about you give
You
him...
said I could only do...
That's what I was asking.
Brushing my teeth and making my bed.
Yeah, that's what I was asking, if what you were trying to get out of. You're getting out of tidying your room today?
Yeah.
What if... You don't like that part? Well, Brennan's doing a lot of that work. Maybe you could just say, hey, Brennan, how could I help? Instead of choosing what you want to do, maybe you could just offer Brandon a little bit of help for a few minutes. Because he's like organizing the books. You're good at that.
Help for 2 minutes.
Help for 2 minutes. I love it. Falling back on routines actually feels good. The kids have their checklist. They know right where it is and what they need to do. The expectation has been set for the last year, so they know exactly what they're supposed to be doing. And falling back into that was really kind of easy for us. It was about me setting the expectation that we're picking our life back up and we're going to do chores, checklist, breakfast, and school. I don't necessarily care what order each kid does those things in. We just make sure those 4 things are done to make it to lunch, essentially. Some of my kids take their time with school or chores. It really doesn't matter to me, and I kind of give myself over to this section of the day. A is taller than B, B is taller than C, A is shorter than D. Okay, so then you're saying which is the tallest?
This one.
Can I teach you how to use it? What do you want your label to say?
Cars and trains.
Cars and trains, okay. So
Oh, it's like a keyboard?
This is a power button. And it'll show you the last thing you made. So you hit clear a bunch of times. Now you spell what you want.
Can I skip this lesson and move on to this one?
Well, we can do hard things and we can do hard things together. Okay, you ready?
Yeah.
This one is B. So write a B. See if you can figure it out from there.
I just don't want to name it, but it's too hard for me to say it.
Okay, so let's look at it together. Ready? What's that?
E.
E. Na. Break it down. Break it all apart. Elena. Very good.
They were very poor,
Aww.
but they had everything they needed.
They were poor, but they had everything they needed.
Yeah.
Interesting.
They had a garden to grow vegetables,
Mm-hmm.
and hens, and geese for fresh eggs.
It's in this story, so
Yeah.
let's read it and then we can talk about that word.
I don't want to talk about the word.
Okay, you just want to read the book?
Yeah.
Okay.
I just don't want to say.
Do you want to skip that sentence?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I'll show you around this already.
Okay. Oh my.
So, this is Legos, cars and trains, train tracks, trash.
Trash. Well, why don't you just put trash in the trash bin?
It's a lot.
You guys have taken on a project. Wow, that looks really good, Brandon. You did a great job.
Thank you. Help me.
Becca, thanks for helping Brandon with this project. Your trash bag, Becca.
I did it. I never saw that. Thanks for helping me, guys.
Sure. It's a big project to do by yourself.
Thanks. I'm gonna finish my redesign.
Where's the blueberry pizza? This is not trash. I made this.
Okay, sorry. Why don't you put it on Jack's bed and we can hang it?
So much trash.
And this was the project that got me going back into our routines in our life. My 9-year-old really wanted his room reset, everything cleaned up from underneath the beds, and all the books organized on his shelf. And his sister helped him without being asked, and I decided to help too, because it is a big project for kids to do on their own, and I don't mind helping, and it gave me something to do, and it kept me off the couch. So I appreciated that he wanted this, and I had to see it for what it was. And he really just wanted a clean room. He even said, when we're done, I'm going to sweep and vacuum and mop. He really wanted it nice and clean. My 6-year-old didn't want to be by himself, and he had finished school, chores, and checklist, so he was allowed to be doing learning games on his iPad. He did not want to help, even though this is also his room. Good job.
Mom, you know what's weird?
Yeah.
Zombies are the most common hostile mob in Minecraft, but I haven't seen a single one.
Okay.
The least common, he's a zombified piglin, and I've seen that.
Okay.
What is this? What?
Okay, pal. How'd you end up?
Well, amazing.
Okay.
And last, but not least, Lego bin down here. Cars and trains up here. Blocks.
Okay.
And then trains.
And then trains.
over here.
And you said you wanted to vacuum and mop?
Yep.
Okay.
I'll look at vacuum.
Okay, buddy. This is everything that needs to go to its actual home, which is not this room. So most of it goes downstairs. The Hot Wheel tracks are downstairs. I know where all my pencils went this spring. We opened a new package, now I know where they went. Some Duplos and a magnifier. That's all stored in specific areas downstairs. He organized his shelf by series, which is like amazing. He did that all on his own. That's what actually started him on this journey. He's never really done this before. And he ended up with a bag of trash and some recycling. I can't believe he did that unprompted to do his room. So I helped him to finish his room. And now I gotta make lunch. We're gonna do turkey BLTs with some chips and some fruit. And we got most of the kitchen done. Look, that. The counter ended up collecting some extra things as we were organizing. Let me just take you around. I'll show you the other things. A couple other things ended up on the counter. Just need to deal with. Bread I baked yesterday. Got the bacon going for BLTs. One kid did school, my kindergartner. My second grader and third grader still need to do a bit of school for today. I think we'll just do math, reading, and writing. Over here. My second grader and my third grader did their schoolwork while we were eating lunch. So I just wanted to show you, in case you homeschool or you're interested anyway, let me show you kind of what they did for a light sort of summer school program. My second grader did her handwriting, and then she just turns it to the next page. She also did her language arts lesson 3 in this. We'll do lesson 4 tomorrow. And she did some math. So math, reading, writing, reading lesson, and writing practice. And then she's learning to tell time. So we did this together. And she's reading Ramona Quimby, age 8. So she read a chapter in that. And that constituted school for her. And then my third grader is working on learning some fractions. So he did some division practice and breaking things up for a page of math. And he and I together read to the end of his chapter in his Michael Clay Thompson grammar curriculum. And then his writing, he's been doing IEW and he does that on the computer. So he did that. They took off most of the month of May. So they have to finish some school to finish these grades. And then we'll take off some time in July as an end of school year celebration, and they'll pick it back up in August. And we just kind of slow roll it for the rest of the summer, math, reading, writing, a little bit of science, a little bit of history. And then once fall comes around, we add in music, art, and health. So they take some subjects off for the summertime, but we kind of got that table sorted a little bit. Where else did we do? The living room. And then here's where the family room ended up. They cleaned up all their toys and stuff from the floor. The benches don't have a home right now. They end up just floating around. And they used to be under the window and I liked them there, but now I needed a spot for the houseplants. So now the benches don't really have a spot in here. Maybe they'll kind of go over here once my husband gets that shelf out of here. That's my seedling shelf. It has the lights that we built into it, and it's just going to go in the garage or the basement until next February. So, kitchen came out okay. These are the only other windows in the house that get enough light, so maybe I can move the plants under one of these windows and put my benches back. These front windows just don't get the sunlight that I'd want, but these certainly do. Could be good. Check out these portraits they did with their art class stuff. They do a good job. Thanks for being here today with me. I really appreciate you sharing your time with me. And as I refined the simple life that we've built for ourselves here, getting back into our routines and our schedule and figuring out the things that take us through the day. I hope you are well, and I see you in the next video.